The ground shook beneath my feet as the sky burned with the light of 1,000 suns. I had seen many things in my years as a soldier, but nothing could have prepared me for this. The massive object descended from the heavens, trailing fire and smoke, its impact a thunderous roar that echoed across the battlefield. The war we were fighting seemed to pause, every eye drawn to the fiery wreckage that now lay smoldering in the distance. "Sergeant Carter, what the hell is that?" Corporal Lisa Harlow's voice crackled over the comms, filled with the same mix of awe and fear that I felt. "I don't know, Harlow," I replied, my eyes never leaving the smoking crater. "But we're going to find out. Gather the team and head to the crash site. Stay alert. We don't know what we're dealing with." As we approached the wreckage, the scale of the destruction became apparent. The ground was scorched, twisted metal and debris scattered over a wide area. The air was thick with the smell of burning fuel and the acrid scent of melted metal. Whatever this thing was, it was unlike anything we had ever encountered. "Look at the size of this thing," Private Jenkins muttered, his voice barely audible over the crackling flames. It's massive." "Stay focused," I ordered, my eyes scanning the wreckage for any signs of life. "We don't know what we're dealing with here." We moved cautiously through the debris, weapons at the ready. The wreckage was unlike any aircraft or spacecraft I had ever seen. Its design was alien, otherworldly, with smooth curves and strange symbols etched into the metal. As we ventured deeper into the wreckage, a sense of unease settled over us. "Sergeant, over here!" Harlow's voice called out from ahead. She was standing near a partially intact section of the ship, her eyes wide with disbelief. "You need to see this." I hurried over, my heart pounding in my chest. As I reached her, I saw what had caught her attention. There, amidst the twisted metal and debris, was a figure. It was humanoid but clearly not human. Its skin was a pale, iridescent blue, and it wore armor that seemed to shimmer in the dim light. "Is it alive?" Jenkins asked, his voice trembling. I approached cautiously, my weapon trained on the figure. It was injured, that much was clear. Blood, or at least what I assumed was blood, seeped from a wound in its side. Its eyes, a deep, luminescent green, flickered open and fixed on me. "Help," the word was faint, barely a whisper, but it was unmistakable. "Get the medic over here, now!" I barked, my mind racing. This was it. Proof that we were not alone in the universe. And it was injured, vulnerable. "Harlow, keep an eye out. We don't know if it's alone." As the medic worked to stabilize the alien, I couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. Whatever this being was, whatever had brought it here, it was far beyond anything we had ever faced. And it was my duty to find out why it had come. "Hang in there," I murmured to the alien, more to myself than to it. "We'll get you out of here." The alien's eyes flickered again, a spark of hope in their depths. "Warn you." "Zorak." I leaned in closer, straining to hear. "What? What is Zorak?" The alien's eyes closed, its strength fading. "Invasion, coming." My blood ran cold. Invasion? This crash was no accident. It was a warning. And whatever Zorak was, it was coming. The journey back to our base was tense. Every jolt and bump of the transport vehicle seemed to rattle the injured alien even more, and I kept glancing back to make sure it was still breathing. Harlow sat across from me, her eyes locked on the creature, a mix of fear and curiosity on her face. "We need to get it to Dr. Marlowe," I said, breaking the silence. "She'll know what to do." As we pulled into the base, a crowd began to gather, soldiers and staff alike drawn by the sight of the strange being we were carrying. I ignored their stares and murmurs, focusing on getting the alien to the med bay as quickly as possible. Dr. Tessa Marlowe was waiting for us, her eyes widening in surprise as she saw the alien. "Sergeant Carter, who is this?" "We don't know," I admitted, helping to lift the alien onto a medical bed. "We found it in the wreckage." It managed to say a few words before losing consciousness. Something about an invasion and a name, Zorak. Dr. Marlowe nodded, her professional demeanor taking over as she began to examine the alien. "We'll need to stabilize it first. Whatever information it has, we need to ensure it survives to share it." As Dr. Marlowe and her team worked, I pulled Harlow aside. We need to secure the area. If this alien was talking about an invasion, we need to be ready for anything. Harlow nodded, already issuing orders to the rest of the team. I'll get the perimeter secured and set up additional patrols. Leaving Harlow to handle security, I returned to the med bay. Dr. Marlowe was deep in her examination, her expression a mix of fascination and concern. This being is extraordinary, she murmured. Its physiology is similar to ours, but with significant differences. Its ability to communicate in English, even briefly, is remarkable. Will it survive? I asked, watching as the alien's chest rose and fell in shallow breaths. It's too early to tell, Dr. Marlowe replied. But we'll do everything we can. Hours passed as we waited. I couldn't shake the feeling of urgency, the alien's warning echoing in my mind. Finally, the alien stirred, its eyes opening slowly. Dr. Marlowe leaned in, speaking softly. Can you hear me? Do you understand? The alien's eyes flickered with recognition. Yes, understand. Dr. Marlowe glanced at me, and I stepped forward. You mentioned an invasion. Zorak. Can you tell us more? The alien took a shaky breath. Zorak, Commander, ruthless. Destroyed my planet. Now, coming for yours. The weight of its words settled over us. This wasn't just a random encounter. It was a warning of an imminent threat. How do we stop him? I asked. The alien's gaze hardened with determination. Fight, together. My technology, your strength. Dr. Marlowe's eyes lit up with interest. Your technology, do you have something that can help us? The alien nodded weakly. Ship, device. Disrupts communication, confuses enemy. I turned to Dr. Marlowe. We need to find that device and learn how to use it. It could be our only chance. Dr. Marlowe nodded, already thinking ahead. I'll start analyzing the wreckage and see what I can find. The alien's eyes closed again, exhaustion overcoming it. Warn others, prepare. I placed a reassuring hand on its arm. We will. We'll do everything we can to stop this invasion. As the alien slipped back into unconsciousness, I knew our fight had just begun. We were no longer just battling each other, we were facing a threat from beyond the stars. And this time, we had to stand united or fall divided. The base buzzed with activity as the news spread. The idea of an imminent alien invasion had everyone on edge, but it also ignited a sense of purpose and urgency. We had a mission now, to prepare for Zorak's arrival and to use whatever technology we could salvage from the crashed ship to our advantage. Dr. Marlowe and her team worked tirelessly, poring over the alien wreckage for any usable technology. Meanwhile, I gathered my team to discuss our next steps. All right, listen up, I said, addressing my squad. This alien, Ira, as Dr. Marlowe has named her, has warned us of an impending invasion. General Zorak destroyed her planet, and now he's coming for ours. We need to be ready. Harlow, still visibly shaken by the revelation, nodded. What's our plan, Sergeant? First, we need to secure this base. We don't know when or how Zorak will attack, but we need to be prepared for anything. Second, we need to learn as much as we can from Ira and her technology. Dr. Marlowe believes there's a device in the wreckage that can disrupt Zorak's communications. If we can get it operational, it could give us a critical advantage. The team exchanged worried glances but nodded in agreement. What do you need from us? Private Jenkins asked. Patrols, increased security, and constant vigilance, I replied. Harlow, you're in charge of setting up the perimeter defenses. Jenkins, I want you to assist Dr. Marlowe with whatever she needs. We don't have much time. With our assignments clear, we set to work. The base became a hive of activity, every soldier and scientist working towards a common goal. The sense of unity was palpable, a stark contrast to the infighting and distrust that had plagued us before Ira's arrival. Days turned into nights as we worked around the clock. Ira's condition slowly improved under Dr. Marlowe's care, and she began to share more about her home planet and the horrors Zorak had unleashed upon it. Zorak is ruthless, Ira explained during one of her more lucid moments. He doesn't just conquer, he annihilates. He used the harmonic disruptor to dismantle our communication networks, creating chaos and confusion. By the time we realized what was happening, it was too late. He had already broken our defenses. Dr. Marlowe's eyes gleamed with determination. But we have a chance to turn his own weapon against him. If we can get the disruptor operational, we can use it to disrupt his forces when they arrive. Ira nodded. Yes. But you must act quickly. Zorak won't give you much time. I turned to Dr. Marlowe. How soon can you get it working? She glanced at the alien device she'd been examining. We're making progress, but it's complex. I'll need more time. Do whatever it takes, I said. We're counting on you. As the days passed, tensions ran high, but so did our resolve. We were no longer just soldiers and scientists, we were humanity's last line of defense. And we would fight with everything we had to protect our world from Zorak's wrath. Ira's presence at the base became a symbol of our newfound unity and resolve. Her knowledge of Zorak's tactics and technology was invaluable, and despite the initial mistrust, she quickly gained our respect and trust. As we worked together, a tentative alliance formed, grounded in a shared goal, to stop Zorak from annihilating Earth. Sergeant Carter, Ira began one evening as we reviewed defensive plans. My people underestimated Zorak's ruthlessness. We were divided and unprepared. You must not make the same mistake. I nodded, understanding the gravity of her words. We won't. With your help, we have a fighting chance. Dr. Marlowe had made significant progress on the harmonic disruptor. The device, now partially operational, had been moved to a secure lab for further analysis and testing. Ira spent hours with Marlowe, explaining the intricacies of the alien technology. Harlow, meanwhile, had transformed the base's defenses. She coordinated patrols, established checkpoints, and set up surveillance systems that could detect any unusual activity. Despite the revelation of an impending invasion, her efficiency and dedication were unshaken. As I walked through the base, I could see the changes taking hold. Soldiers who had once been disheartened and demoralized now moved with purpose. Scientists who had been isolated in their labs now collaborated openly, driven by the urgent need to decipher the alien technology. Ira, I need to understand more about Zorak, I said one day as we reviewed our defensive plans. What drives him? What are his weaknesses? Ira's expression darkened. Zorak craves power above all else. He destroys not just to conquer, but to instill fear and ensure obedience. His greatest strength lies in his ability to sow chaos and confusion. But his arrogance is also his weakness. He underestimates those he considers inferior. I absorbed her words, considering how we could turn Zorak's arrogance against him. Then we'll use that to our advantage. We'll make him think we're weaker than we are. Our discussions often ran late into the night, strategizing and planning. Ira's insights were invaluable, not just for understanding Zorak but for fortifying our defenses and preparing our troops. Her presence was a constant reminder of the stakes, and her determination fueled our own. Dr. Marlowe's voice crackled over the comms one afternoon. Sergeant Carter, Ira, I need you in the lab. We've made a breakthrough. We hurried to the lab, where Marlowe was standing over the harmonic disruptor. We've managed to activate a preliminary signal, she explained. It's not at full capacity yet, but it's a start. Ira's eyes gleamed with hope. This is good. Very good. With this, we can begin to understand how to fully utilize it against Zorak. Dr. Marlowe nodded. We still have a lot of work to do, but I'm confident we can get it operational in time. As I looked around the room, at the faces of those who had come together in this fight, I felt a surge of pride. We were no longer just reacting to a threat, we were taking the fight to Zorak. And with Ira's help, we stood a chance of not only surviving but defeating him. We're ready, I said, more to myself than anyone else. Whatever comes next, we're ready. The sense of camaraderie and purpose was palpable. We were fighting for our world, for our survival, and we would do whatever it took to protect it. Days blurred into nights as the work continued. Dr. Marlowe, with Ira's assistance, had managed to get the harmonic disruptor operational. The complex alien technology was unlike anything we had ever seen, but the principles behind it were becoming clearer. Ira explained how it was used to dismantle her planet's communication networks, causing widespread chaos and confusion. "We need to test this device," Dr. Marlowe announced during one of our strategy meetings. "A full-scale deployment is risky without knowing its exact capabilities and effects." "Agreed," I said, leaning over the holographic map of the base. "But we need to be cautious. Any test could potentially alert Zorak to our plans." Ira nodded. "A small-scale test on a controlled area would be best. We can monitor the effects and make adjustments as needed." As we prepared for the test, I couldn't help but feel a sense of urgency. Zorak's forces could arrive at any moment, and we needed to be ready. The base was fortified, and our soldiers were trained and prepared, but the harmonic disruptor could be the key to turning the tide in our favor. "Sergeant Carter," Dr. Marlowe called out, pulling me from my thoughts. "We're ready to begin the test." I gathered my team and moved to the designated testing area. The harmonic disruptor was set up, and sensors were placed around the perimeter to monitor its effects. Ira stood by Dr. Marlowe, her eyes focused on the device, her expression a mix of hope and determination. "Activating the disruptor in 3, 2, 1, Dr. Marlowe's voice was steady, but I could sense the tension in the air. A low hum filled the air as the device powered up. The sound grew, resonating through the ground and causing a slight vibration. The sensors around the area began to flicker, and the communication devices in our hands crackled with static. "It's working," Dr. Marlowe said, her eyes fixed on the readouts. "The signal is disrupting local communications as expected." Ira nodded, her eyes gleaming. "This is just the beginning. Once fully operational, the disruptor will be able to affect a much larger area." "Let's hope it can do the same to Zorak's forces," I said, watching as the device continued its low, steady hum. "But we need to be sure. Can we ramp up the power without drawing too much attention?" Dr. Marlowe hesitated. "We can, but there's a risk. The higher the power, the more likely it is that Zorak will detect the signal." I weighed the options, considering the potential consequences. "Do it. We need to know its full capabilities. If Zorak detects us, so be it. Better now than when we're unprepared." Dr. Marlowe adjusted the controls, and the hum grew louder. The vibrations intensified, and the static in our communication devices became almost unbearable. The sensors around the perimeter lit up, indicating a wide-reaching effect. "That's it," Dr. Marlowe said, shutting down the device. "We've reached the maximum safe threshold." "How effective will this be against Zorak's fleet?" Harlow asked, stepping forward. Ira looked at the disruptor, then back at us. "Very effective. If deployed correctly, it can create enough confusion to give us a significant advantage." I nodded, feeling a surge of hope. "Good. Then we need to plan our next move. If Zorak's coming, we need to be ready to hit him hard and fast." As we gathered around the holographic map, Ira began outlining the strategy. "Zorak relies heavily on coordinated attacks. Disrupt his communications, and his forces will be thrown into chaos. We need to time the activation of the disruptor with our own assault, hitting them when they're most vulnerable." Dr. Marlowe added, "We'll need to be mobile. Setting up the disruptor close to the battlefield will maximize its effectiveness, but it also puts it at risk. We need a dedicated team to protect it." Harlow, despite our past tensions, stepped up. "I'll lead the defense team. We'll make sure the disruptor stays operational." I looked at my team, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. "All right. Let's finalize the plans. We need to be ready for anything. This is our best shot at stopping Zorak and protecting our planet." As we broke off to prepare, I caught Ira's eye. "Thank you," I said quietly. "For everything." Ira smiled, a hint of sadness in her eyes. "We fight for the same cause now. For our homes, our people. Together, we can stop him." With the plans in place and the disruptor operational, we were ready to face whatever came next. The fate of our world depended on it. The following days were a blur of preparation and anticipation. The base buzzed with activity as we fortified our defenses and fine-tuned the harmonic disruptor. Every soldier, every scientist, every piece of technology was geared towards one goal: stopping Zorak. I found myself spending more time with Ira, learning from her experiences and strategizing our next moves. Her insights were invaluable, and her presence a constant reminder of what we were fighting for. One evening, as I was reviewing the final deployment plans with Ira and Dr. Marlowe, a message came through the comms. "Sergeant Carter, we need you in the command center. Urgently." I exchanged a worried glance with Ira and hurried to the command center, Harlow and Jenkins following closely behind. The atmosphere was tense, and I could sense something was wrong. "What's the situation?" I asked as I entered. One of the officers looked up, his expression grim. "We detected unauthorized transmissions coming from within the base. Someone's been sending information to an unknown recipient." My heart sank. "Who?" "We traced the transmissions back to Corporal Harlow," the officer replied, eyes flicking to her. I turned to Harlow, disbelief and anger boiling inside me. "Is this true?" Harlow's face remained emotionless. "Yes, Sergeant. It's true." "Why?" I demanded, my voice shaking with rage. "Why would you betray us?" Harlow's eyes were cold. "Zorak promised power and safety. Your resistance is futile. Joining him is the only way to survive." Before I could react, Harlow reached for her weapon. But Ira was faster. In a swift motion, she disarmed Harlow and pinned her against the wall, her expression one of controlled fury. "You don't understand what you're doing," Ira said through gritted teeth. "Zorak doesn't offer safety. He offers destruction." We secured Harlow, and I turned to my team. "We need to find out what she's told Zorak and prepare for the worst. Jenkins, take her to the brig. Dr. Marlowe, double-check the harmonic disruptor for any tampering." As Harlow was led away, I felt a mix of betrayal and determination. We couldn't let this setback stop us. We had to be stronger, more vigilant. Later that night, as I stood guard outside the lab where Dr. Marlowe was working, Ira joined me. "I'm sorry, Nathan," she said quietly. "Betrayal is a wound that cuts deep." I nodded, staring into the darkness. We trusted her. But we can't let this break us. We have to stay focused. Ira placed a hand on my shoulder. "We'll stop Zorak. Together." The next day, we gathered to finalize our plans. Dr. Marlowe had confirmed that the harmonic disruptor was secure and operational. We were ready. "All right, team," I began, addressing the soldiers and scientists. "We've faced betrayal, but we stand united. Our mission remains the same. We use the disruptor to create chaos in Zorak's ranks and hit them with everything we've got. Harlow's betrayal has only strengthened our resolve." Ira stepped forward, her voice steady. "Zorak's forces will come expecting us to be disorganized. We'll show them our strength, our unity. We fight for our world, for our future." We moved out, every step filled with purpose. The disruptor was transported to the battlefield under heavy guard, Harlow's betrayal fresh in our minds, sharpening our focus. As we set up the disruptor, the first signs of Zorak's fleet appeared on the horizon. Dark shapes against the setting sun, a harbinger of the battle to come. "Positions, everyone," I ordered, my voice calm despite the tension. "Wait for my signal." The ground trembled as Zorak's forces approached, the air filled with the hum of alien machinery. I glanced at Ira, who gave me a determined nod. "Activate the disruptor," I commanded. Dr. Marlowe flipped the switch, and the device roared to life. The hum intensified, a resonant frequency spreading outwards. The effect was immediate. Zorak's ships wavered, their formations breaking as confusion spread through their ranks. "Now! Attack!" I shouted, leading the charge. We surged forward, Ira by my side, our forces hitting Zorak's disoriented troops with precision and fury. The battlefield erupted into chaos, but it was controlled chaos, orchestrated by our strategic use of the disruptor. Ira fought with a fierce determination, her movements fluid and deadly. I matched her intensity, knowing that this battle was more than just a fight for survival, it was a fight for our future. As we pushed deeper into enemy lines, I spotted a familiar figure, General Zorak, his imposing presence a stark contrast to the disarray around him. "Ira," I called out, pointing towards Zorak. There he is. Ira's eyes locked onto Zorak, her expression hardening. This ends now. With a nod, we moved forward, our goal clear. We would confront Zorak, end his reign of terror, and protect our world. With Zorak defeated, the tide of battle began to turn in our favor. His forces, disorganized and leaderless, struggled to regroup. But we knew that the fight was far from over. We had to ensure that Zorak's army was completely dismantled, and that meant being prepared for any last-ditch efforts they might make. Secure the perimeter, I shouted, directing our troops to fortify our positions. We need to hold our ground and be ready for a counterattack. Ira stood beside me, her eyes scanning the horizon. Zorak's forces won't give up easily. They might try to rally and launch a final assault. We'll be ready, I assured her. We have the harmonic disruptor and our combined strength. We can hold them off. Dr. Marlowe approached, her face lined with exhaustion but filled with resolve. The disruptor is holding steady, but we need to keep an eye on it. Any malfunction now could turn the tide against us. Understood, I said. Keep your team on it, and let us know if anything changes. As the day wore on, we continued to fortify our defenses and regroup. The battle had taken its toll on all of us, but the sight of Zorak's fallen command center gave us hope. We were on the brink of victory, but we couldn't let our guard down. Harlow's betrayal hurt us, Ira said quietly, her gaze distant. But it also made us stronger. We know what we're fighting for. I nodded, appreciating her words. We fight for our world, and for each other. That's something Zorak could never understand. Night fell, and with it came an eerie silence. We kept our watch, knowing that the remnants of Zorak's forces could strike at any moment. The harmonic disruptor hummed steadily, a beacon of hope amidst the darkness. Stay alert, I reminded our troops as I patrolled the perimeter. We've come too far to lose now. Hours passed, the tension palpable. Then, just before dawn, movement was detected on the horizon. Zorak's remaining forces, desperate and determined, were making their final push. Here they come, Ira said, her voice steady but tinged with anticipation. This is it. Hold your positions. I ordered, my voice carrying over the comms. Prepare to engage on my command. The enemy forces approached, their numbers still formidable despite their losses. But we were ready. As they closed in, I gave the order. Activate the disruptor. Dr. Marlowe's team powered up the device, and the familiar hum filled the air. The enemy's movements became erratic as their communications were disrupted, just as we had planned. Now! Attack! I commanded, leading the charge. Our forces surged forward, meeting the enemy head-on. The battle was fierce, but we fought with a renewed sense of purpose. This was our moment, our chance to secure a future free from Zorak's tyranny. Ira and I fought side by side, our movements synchronized. The enemy's resolve wavered, and soon it was clear that they were losing. With one final push, we broke their lines and secured the battlefield. As the last of Zorak's forces were defeated, a cheer rose from our ranks. The battle was won, and with it, our future. We did it, I said, turning to Ira. We actually did it. Ira smiled, a genuine expression of relief and triumph. Yes, Nathan. We did. The dawn of a new day broke over the battlefield, a symbol of hope and renewal. We had faced the darkness and emerged victorious, united by a common cause and strengthened by our shared resolve. With Zorak's forces in disarray and the harmonic disruptor working flawlessly, we knew we had the upper hand. But there was no time to rest. We had to press our advantage and ensure that Zorak's army was completely neutralized. The remnants of his forces were regrouping for a last-ditch effort, and we needed to strike first. Gather everyone, I ordered. We're taking the fight to them. As our troops assembled, I took a moment to address them. We've come a long way, and we've faced incredible challenges. But we've stood strong and united. Today, we finish this. We take the fight to Zorak's forces and end their threat once and for all. The soldiers responded with a cheer, their morale high despite the grueling battle we had fought. Ira stood beside me, her presence a reminder of why we were fighting. Are you ready? I asked her. She nodded, determination etched on her face. Let's end this, Nathan. We moved out, the harmonic disruptor positioned at the front of our formation. Dr. Marlowe's team was on high alert, ready to deploy the device at a moment's notice. The plan was simple but risky: use the disruptor to create chaos within the enemy ranks, then launch a coordinated assault to finish them off. As we approached the enemy's position, the tension was palpable. The remnants of Zorak's army were fortified, their defenses strong. But we had the element of surprise and the disruptor on our side. Positions, I called out, directing our troops to their designated spots. On my signal, we activate the disruptor and move in. The air was thick with anticipation as we waited. Then, with a nod to Dr. Marlowe, I gave the order. Now! The disruptor roared to life, its resonant frequency spreading outwards and disrupting the enemy's communications. Immediately, we saw the effects. Their formations wavered, confusion spreading through their ranks. Attack! I shouted, leading the charge. Our forces surged forward, hitting the enemy with precision and force. Ira and I fought side by side, cutting through the disoriented troops. The enemy's defenses crumbled under our assault, their attempts to regroup thwarted by the disruptor. Despite their desperation, Zorak's forces fought fiercely. The battle was brutal, but we were relentless. Every step forward was hard-won, every enemy defeated a testament to our determination. Ira's combat skills were nothing short of extraordinary. She moved with a fluid grace, her strikes precise and deadly. I matched her intensity, our teamwork honed by the battles we had fought together. As we pushed deeper into enemy territory, I spotted a familiar figure rallying the troops. It was one of Zorak's lieutenants, a formidable warrior who had caused us significant trouble in previous encounters. There! I pointed. Take him down! Ira and I moved in unison, our focus laser-sharp. The lieutenant fought with a ferocity born of desperation, but we were relentless. In a final, coordinated strike, we took him down, breaking the last vestige of resistance. With their leader fallen, the remaining enemy forces began to scatter. The battle was over. We had won. Secure the area, I ordered, ensuring that every corner was checked and cleared. As the dust settled, the reality of our victory began to sink in. Ira turned to me, a look of relief and triumph on her face. It's over. I nodded, feeling a weight lift off my shoulders. Yes. We did it. The battlefield was ours, and with it, the future of our world. We had faced the darkness and emerged victorious, united by a common cause and strengthened by our shared resolve. As the final remnants of Zorak's forces were rounded up and secured, I took a moment to survey the battlefield. The toll of the conflict was evident in the wreckage and the weary faces of our troops, but there was also a sense of triumph. We had achieved what seemed impossible. Sergeant Carter, we've secured the perimeter, Harlow reported, her tone more respectful than it had been in a long time. No sign of further resistance. Good work, Harlow, I replied, acknowledging her efforts. Despite the betrayal and the hardships, she had proven her loyalty in the end. Ira approached, her gaze steady. We need to ensure that Zorak's technology is destroyed. It cannot be allowed to fall into the wrong hands. I nodded. Agreed. Let's gather the scientists and start dismantling their equipment. As we moved through the enemy's stronghold, Dr. Marlowe and her team worked quickly to disable and destroy any remaining alien technology. The harmonic disruptor had been our key to victory, but we couldn't risk leaving any trace of its capabilities behind. In the command center, we found Zorak's main console. Ira examined it carefully, her expression grim. This is where he controlled the disruptor. We need to ensure it's completely destroyed. Together, we set charges around the console and the surrounding equipment. As we prepared to leave, I looked at Ira. Ready? She nodded, and we triggered the charges. The explosion rocked the command center, sending debris flying and ensuring that Zorak's technology would never be used again. Outside, our troops were celebrating. The sense of relief and victory was palpable, but I couldn't shake the feeling that our work wasn't finished. Ira, I said, turning to her. We need to ensure that the alliances we've formed here last. We need to rebuild, stronger and united. She smiled, a genuine warmth in her eyes. We will. Together. As the sun began to rise, casting a golden light over the battlefield, I felt a sense of hope. We had faced an unimaginable threat and emerged victorious. But more importantly, we had done it together, forging alliances that would ensure a brighter future. Back at the base, we held a memorial for those we had lost. It was a somber reminder of the sacrifices made, but also a celebration of the victory we had achieved. Ira stood beside me, a symbol of our unity and resolve. We honor those who fell, I said, addressing the gathered soldiers and scientists. But we also look to the future. A future where we stand together, stronger and united. This is our world, and we will protect it. The crowd erupted into cheers, a wave of hope and determination washing over us. We had faced the darkness and emerged victorious. And now, we would rebuild, ensuring that the sacrifices made were not in vain. As the ceremony ended, I turned to Ira. Thank you. For everything. She smiled, her eyes reflecting the rising sun. No, Nathan. Thank you. For giving me hope. For fighting by my side. Together, we faced the dawn of a new era. An era of unity, strength, and hope. And we were ready to face whatever challenges the future held, knowing that we would face them together. With the victory behind us, the focus shifted to rebuilding and ensuring that Earth was prepared for any future threats. The alliance between humans and aliens had been forged in the fires of battle, and now it was time to solidify that bond. Dr. Marlowe and her team worked tirelessly to integrate the salvaged alien technology into our defenses, ensuring that we would be better prepared for any future invasions. The harmonic disruptor, now fully understood, became a cornerstone of our planetary defense system. Ira stayed with us, her knowledge and experience invaluable. She became a bridge between our worlds, helping to foster cooperation and understanding. Together, we began to rebuild not just our cities, but our trust in one another. We have a chance to create something truly remarkable, Ira said one evening as we stood on a hill overlooking the base. A future where our people can coexist and thrive together. I nodded, feeling a sense of pride and hope. We've already made great strides. And with you by our side, I know we can achieve even more. The base had transformed from a war zone to a bustling hub of activity and innovation. Scientists and engineers from both our worlds worked side by side, sharing knowledge and developing new technologies. The sense of camaraderie and mutual respect was palpable. One day, as I walked through the base, I came across a group of children, both human and alien, playing together. It was a simple but powerful reminder of what we were fighting for, a future where all beings could live in peace and harmony. Harlow, I called out, spotting my former second-in-command. How are things on your end? She approached, her expression one of determination. We're making progress, Sergeant. The new defense systems are coming online, and the training programs for our troops are in full swing. Good to hear, I said, clapping her on the shoulder. Keep up the good work. Ira joined us, her presence a calming influence. The future looks bright, she said, her voice filled with optimism. We've come a long way, and there's still much to do. But I have faith in us. Together, we continued our work, driven by the knowledge that we were building a better world. The memory of Zorak's invasion served as a constant reminder of the importance of unity and preparedness. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, the bonds between our people grew stronger. We faced challenges and setbacks, but we tackled them together, united by a common purpose. One evening, as the sun set over the horizon, casting a golden glow over the base, Ira and I stood together, reflecting on our journey. We've achieved so much, I said, my voice filled with pride. But there's still so much more to do. Ira nodded, her eyes shining with determination. And we will do it. Together. As the first stars appeared in the night sky, I felt a sense of peace and hope. We had faced the darkness and emerged victorious, stronger and more united than ever before. And as we looked to the future, I knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, we would face them together, as allies, as friends, and as one united force. Years passed, and the world transformed. The alliance forged between humans and aliens became a beacon of hope for other civilizations. Word of our victory and the cooperation that made it possible spread across the galaxy, inspiring other worlds to seek out peaceful coexistence. The harmonic disruptor, once a weapon of destruction, was repurposed for peaceful applications, helping to improve communication and foster understanding between different species. Our technology advanced by leaps and bounds, driven by the exchange of knowledge and ideas. Ira and I continued to lead our respective people, always working towards a brighter future. The lessons we had learned in battle were never forgotten, but they were now applied to building a world where all beings could live in harmony. We established a council, comprised of representatives from different species, to ensure that our alliance remained strong and adaptable to new challenges. Together, we faced not just the remnants of Zorak's forces, but new threats and opportunities as well. As I stood on the balcony of the new headquarters, looking out over the bustling city that had risen from the ashes of war, I felt a deep sense of accomplishment. We had turned the tide of history, not just for our world, but for many others. Ira joined me, her presence as always a source of strength and inspiration. "We've come a long way, Nathan," she said, her voice filled with pride. "Yes, we have," I replied, taking her hand. "And we'll go even further. Together." The legacy of our unity would endure, a testament to the power of cooperation and the indomitable spirit of those who fight for a better future. As the sun set, casting a warm glow over the city, I knew that we had truly changed the world. And with that, our story continues, a journey of hope, strength, and unity that will inspire generations to come. If you enjoyed this story and want to dive into another thrilling sci-fi adventure, be sure to check out the video on your screen now. It's another captivating tale from the Sci-Fi Story Vault that you won't want to miss. Click on the video and continue exploring the vast universe of sci-fi stories. See you in the next adventure.